Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers. Welcome to another session here in Reader's Magnet's featured author interview. My name is Lee, and I am your host for today. And with me is one of the Reader's Magnet's featured author, and of course, one of the most valuable author we have. And we are very honored and happy to have this discussion with him, as he will be sharing to us what this book is all about, who is as an author, and of course, what is the inspiration behind him writing this book. Everyone, let's all welcome our one and only Mr. Stephen Lloyd Auslender, author of the book, The Streamlined Locomotive. Hello, Stephen. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you these days?
I'm doing great as well, Stephen. Thank you so much for asking. All right. So, you know what, Stephen? I'm very excited to have this discussion with you because, I've been hearing a lot of good stuff coming from Val, coming from Keith. Those person who's working with you with this whole journey with the projects, and having an author who's very dedicated for the book is really um such a good feeling, to have someone to work with, and it's actually exciting. Yeah, so yes, Steven, this is the moment that we've been waiting for because it's time to know for further information about your book. All right, but before we do that, Steven, can you maybe give us a little bit of introduction, who you are as an author? Yeah, can you tell us who Stephen Lloyd Auslender is?
Well, I've done a lot of things in life. I'm not going to talk about what I did to make money, but I've been a sculptor for over 50 years. And
Sculpture. Wow,
yeah,
that's
yeah. And
interesting.
then I went ahead and I came up with a name. Uh, I don't know how I did, but my subconscious keeps shoving things forward. And
Mm-hmm.
the name was Bezel Bottom. And I thought that was such a cute name. So I came up with a concept that that person was a old-fashioned robber baron from the 19th century,
Mm-hmm.
and so I have the character, and then I gave my first name, so it would be Throckmorton P. Besselbottom. Now he's not the hero of the story. The main character of the story is his nephew, Theophilus P. Besselbottom. So everybody calls him Theo, and there's no conscious thought about the selection of the characters or anything. It's just it comes out of me, like it's like
Mm-hmm.
my sculpture. It just comes out, and then I create it.
Mm.
So I felt the subconscious part of my mind invents all these things and these situations and characters, and the conscious part is the part that actually creates it. Uh, in terms of sculpture, it actually controls how I build the thing. In terms of writing, it gives me the words and the sequence of events. So it's a little bit more combination of the two. Of course, everything in our life is a combination of the two.
Mm-hmm.
And then so we got the character, and then the setting. It's a they it's like they're from a family, the Bezel Bottom family, is and they uh, have a they have total control of this county in Appalachia. I was not
Mm.
I was not going to name a specific state. Appalachia runs quite a distance up the East Coast and
Okay.
backwards to the uh, near Midwest. And it's a they own the place is a the county is called Hogwaller, Hawgwaller.
Hogwaller. Wow.
Hogwaller, yeah. And there's a they have they control everything in it, and
Mm.
and their main product is well, their main product is um, the industry would be logging and a couple other industries, but their main product is illegal alcohol. In other words, the whole county makes money on moonshine, and the fortunately Throckmorton, who runs who owns everything,
Mm.
he's the boss of the whole place. Um, he's seldom there because they also own a a coast to coast railroad, Chicago Pacific and Eastern. And I figured that covered the whole width of the country. And Theo has a problem because he doesn't like to work. He's inherited money. He's got a common law wife with kids
Mhm.
and grandparents and antebellum mansions all over the place. And he does as little as possible. And he just likes running around with attractive women and having fun and having lovers. What a nice young man does. But he's essentially kind of lazy. And what happens is they call him down on that, and um, he's Throckmorton's a go-getter type. He's going to go out and get and do things, and he's the powerful robber baron.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
his brother, Aloysius P. Throckmorton, um, is the dreamer type. So the family decided he would be the governor of this little county.
County.
Counties
Mhm.
counties don't have governors, but that's what he does. He governs it,
Mhm.
and he has all these crackpot ideas, and so they assigned Theo, the ne'er do well, to take over, being his assistant and keeping him out of trouble, and keeping the family out of trouble, and
Mhm.
also see if they can make some of his ideas work, and they'll make some money on it. What finally happens is it starts out with Throckmorton, oh, not Throckmorton, Aloysius telling Theo that he wants to have a modern streamlined locomotive um,
There.
for the
Mhm.
railroad. Now they have their own little railroad in the county. It's a rural railroad, and it's just a feeder. The railroad trains would stop at the top of the county on their way
Mhm.
outwards, and then they would transfer using this railroad down to the southern part of the county, where they would transfer on to other southern area railroads. So it's a little two-bit railroad, and he wants it to have a nice, shiny, streamlined locomotive. That was the original idea, and
Wow.
the problem, kind of silly for a little, two-bit railroad, Toonerville trolley type railroad.
Mm.
So now Theo has to go ahead and do this, and they tell him in no uncertain terms, you better succeed, because
Exactly.
he better
Mhm.
go do it because he's been living off the family for a long time. It's about time for him to work.
Mhm.
But the whole story is about what he has to do to, you know, just to survive and to get things going. And then to complicate things, they have the uh, the president. I don't say the president of what, but it's pretty obvious.
Mhm.
Says they
The one who really leads the entire
the whole country,
business.
no,
Mhm.
the country.
Yes. The whole country.
The president
Mhm.
in Washington, and he tells Throckmorton that we have this delegation from this little Balkans country called Bulgaria, and they sent their delegation here, and we have to entertain them, and we don't want them in Washington, so
Mhm.
they assigned Throckmorton and Aloysius to watch over them, give them what they want, and humor them. So now he has to deal with those people, and now there's a actual love interest where uh, Theo has been running around with all these gorgeous women. And since he's well placed in the family and has money, all the gorgeous women chase after him. And he finally ends up with uh, dealing with a lady from the delegation, and she's in charge of security. And she's built like a barrel, and Barro. How do you spell barrel? Oh well. And she's not
It's okay. Uh-huh.
barrel, 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 that kind of barrel. And,
Yes.
and she's not a beauty queen by any means, but she's very.
Wow.
She think of a Russian female wrestler, all muscle,
A Russian she-male wrestler.
female. Yeah,
A
and so
female.
yeah,
Okay.
and
Thought I'd hear she-male.
he is what she calls her Loveford boy. And but the thing is, when they first saw each other, something passed between their eyes, and they recognized something, and he's really attracted to her, which is the exact
Oh.
opposite of all the women he's ever been involved with. And
Wow.
it's like it's that old line when two people fall in love and they say it's bigger than both of us. Um, yeah, that's the way it works. And then they have all sorts of little funny adventures. And,
Wow.
the
That's
idea
nice, Steven. Uh-huh.
that's and then I'm not gonna tell you how it ends. I'm not gonna tell you if they get the streamlined locomotive or how they do it.
Uh-huh. Right. We need to leave a cliffhanger.
Yeah, you got to find out what
Wow.
actually happens. You go by the book.
Absolutely. Right. And thank you so much for that, Stephen. Wow. And also for sharing who you are as an author, from being a sculptor to a storyteller, coming up with this all of these characters, creating names, like really creating the whole story, beyond your imagination. Wow. And that is really interesting. And you know what, Stephen? One thing that I like about your book, it's because um how you really did highlight the you know on how the people can be responsible with others, especially that given, let's say, to be responsible with a task given, in image to resolve for how to be responsible with task given. Being responsible to others is also about expressing their own maturity, right? Wow. And that
I
is
won't.
very
I won't
important.
call. I won't call anybody in my book mature, but maybe maybe more
Okay.
maybe moribund, but not mature. Well,
Mm-hmm.
Theo finds out um, what his father had taught him
Okay.
years ago. It was
Mm-hmm.
another, uh, you know, wheeler dealer. That you find out what people could do, and you let them do it, and then you can stand back and they do all the work. So you don't have to do hard work. You just have to convince
Mm,
other people to do it for you. And
right.
so the you find out what the other person's position is, uh, what he's good at, and
Mm-hmm.
assign him to do it, and he'll do it because it's his job, and you're showing faith in him and that he's capable. And
Wow.
so these people, he's what he found that all he has to do is get other
Mm-hmm.
people to do all his work, and he stands back and supervises. So he's very
Mm,
pleased that he doesn't have to work hard anymore because he just talks other people into doing it. But occasionally he
mm,
has to physically get involved in what's happening.
mm,
And
right.
I'm not,
Responsiveness.
well,
Uh-huh.
he has to. And
Right.
I'm not going to go into the situations they actually get into. It's in the book.
Mm-hmm.
So it's humorous and I would say semi-serious. Because
Wow.
he does
That
learn
is
his
very
lesson.
interesting. Uh-huh.
So
Thank you so much for that, Stephen.
they'll have to
Uh-huh.
go out and read the book to find out what happens.
Exactly. All right, for those of our viewers out there, definitely Mr. Stephen Lloyd Austin is gonna give us a cliffhanger for you to find out what's going to happen next, because this is gonna be a roller coaster. A complete set of serious topics, humorous topics. Wow. This is a great book, Stephen.
Although
Right, and you know what? Uh-huh.
it's
Go ahead,
humorous,
Stephen.
it's humorous. Don't take it too seriously. It's for fun.
Exactly. Thank you so much for that, Stephen. And here, Stephen, I also wanted to ask, during the whole journey of writing, the whole journey of process, what was your favorite part in this book?
Oh, the part
Mm-hmm.
where he has to confront Clem, who's in charge of the hill people. You see, part of the part of the county is the
Mm-hmm.
chief or the main shops, building and repairing shops for the big CP&E railroad. And
Mm-hmm.
then another part of the county is where all the hill people live. I don't like to call them hillbillies. I think that's a derogatory term, but the hill people. Uh,
Okay.
and Al Cap's cartoons depicted them very well. And the hill. So Clem. sort of the leader of the hill people, and he doesn't want to help them do everything they have to do because they have to take some land over from the hill people, but they'll replace it with better. And a bit complicated situation. You got to read the book. But when he goes up against uh, Clem, and Clem is sitting there on his little shack, and he's got a rocking chair and a rifle, and Clem's a really tough guy, and but Theo knows him for a long time, and so Theo walks up, and he figures instead of approaching him with really good guns, to protect himself, he brings a
Mm-hmm.
BB gun, and I'm not going to tell you what happens after that.
Right. Wow. Thank you so much for that, Stephen. It was really an interesting discussion. And yes, again, thank you so much for also giving us this opportunity to really have this discussion with you, to know who you are as an author, what exactly your book is all about. And we really appreciate you, Stephen, for also choosing Reader's Magnet to be part of this journey. All right. So yes, everyone, Mr. Stephen Lloyd Auslender, author of the book The Streamlined Locomotive. His book is available in Amazon.com, Barnes& and Noble, and please do also follow him on all the social media platform he has. And his website will be available soon. So again, Mr. Stephen Auslender, thank you so much. And as we say it here in Reader's Magnet, we share your story with the world. Thank you so much, Stephen.
Thank you.